Hello degenerates and welcome back to another NIKKE video. You already saw the title and the thumbnail, which I don't know what I will do yet. I'm still thinking on a couple ideas, but just based on the title and thumbnail, you know what's going on. Let's talk about why the NIKKE system is the biggest piece of shit I've seen on any gacha game that I've played, and I play a lot of slop. Now, if you don't want to watch the whole video, which is completely fine, this is what we will be talking about. Those 4 points down there, okay? Also, as a small introduction as to this video, it was born for 2 reasons. Well, first of all, we always complain about this system, so it was time. Second, yes, I got tilted because Sefhi saying the system was good on his "should you return to NIKKE" video or something like that. Good video, go watch it. But when he said the gear system was good, I got tilted, right? So after watching the video and also after rolling yesterday and spending 60 plus rocks on Yukiko and getting absolutely nothing, I got tilted. Also, I got super shafted after spending another 50 rocks on my Queen Makoto and getting nothing too. So, just a bit tilted, a bit tilted out the system currently. That said, it is completely fine to be a casual player and not fully understand systems in a gacha game. It is fine. This is not throwing shade or throwing hate at Sefhi specifically or any player. I don't talk about PvP because I don't understand PvP. I'm not someone, for example, Sky, that goes super deep into the theory, crafting, and math. And there are things I don't understand on this game, and I will not talk about them. Right? Like, it's completely fine to not be an expert on a topic and not want to touch it or talk about it. I do believe, however, to talk about the specific systems, you should be playing them. For example, I would not take someone's opinion on endgame in NIKKE if they don't do solo raids and they don't do union raids and they don't push hard mode and they don't push tower and they don't do anything, because then your opinion on endgame is kind of like worthless. You don't do it, so your opinion is kind of like loses a lot of value in that sense. So that's what I want to talk about this specifically, okay? And we're going to be talking about gear today. It is fine to be a casual. This is not any hate to any specific player. This video is about the system itself and why Shift Up has made a really bad system. I'm probably missing some points. I just made this in like 10 minutes for my video. I'm probably missing stuff. You guys can leave comments on how you feel about these systems down below, and if you agree or disagree, as usual, okay? Feel free to keep it civil or be assholes. If you keep it civil, better. That's it. Let's start with this. And we're going to start with the biggest thing in the game for most people. And that is that half of the stats you can get are useless. So we have currently 6 weapon types in the game, and only 3 stats that are good. So if I go here, actually I can't even do this. If I go here, right, there are elemental damage, attack, and max ammo capacity. Those are the only 3 good lines in the game. We'll talk about the rest in a moment. But those 3 are the only lines you are looking for in 99% of the characters. 3 lines: elemental, attack, ammunition. Then you have defense. Completely useless. No, Sefhi, I'm a PvP main. Shut up. Shut up, okay? Completely useless stat. Defense is literally dead weight. Then you have hit rate, a stat that is also useless for half of the weapon types. For some reference, once again, at the moment, hit rate makes it so you are hitting closer to where your crosshair is. But the sniper rifles and rocket launchers don't need this because they always hit where you are aiming. Machine guns like Cindy will also, after they finish ramping up, initially they do miss, but after they ramp up, they are the most accurate weapon. So hit rate is useless for them as well. It's only when they are ramping up. And then, so hit rate is a stat that it's only good for SMGs, assault rifles, and shotguns. Literally half the weapon types. So once again, another line that you cannot really use on most weapon types. Then you have, once again, the same thing. Charge damage, charge speed. This is even worse because charge damage and charge speed, it's only useful on 2 weapon types out of the 6 we have. Sniper rifles, rocket launchers. Anything else, it's a dead stat. And you can't get it. And that's one of the biggest problems. You can't get all of these useless stats on any character, making it so annoying to roll gear on this game. By the way, on this video, I'm not going to explain the gear system itself for how overload works and the acquisition of rocks and how you get those materials, because this is a video for NIKKE players and to explain why the system sucks. This is not like a overload guide. You guys have videos on that on my channel and other channels. I think Imbo made a video recently on that. You guys can check it as well. So we have another stat that is useless, right? Charge damage, charge speed. Well, useless, only useful on two weapon types. And then you have critical damage and critical rate. Crit on NIKKE, it's one of the few gacha games where you do not build crit damage on your characters. Like, you do not focus on crit for endgame on NIKKE. It is getting better, and it is a great filler line for everyone. It is a great filler. But unless it's really, really specific characters, it's not a main stat. Right? Like characters that you want to be focusing on a specific crit teams for Miranda comps or whatever it is. So once again, that is the biggest issue, that most of the stats you can get are not good stats. Like if I go to the table that I have on the website right here, and we talk about this table, most of these stats are not good. So the chances of you getting a good stat are already pretty low. Now, a good example that I'm going to put here, it's actually Silver and Blood. Silver and Blood stole a lot of things from NIKKE. And when I say stole, I mean it. And I am putting down my word there specifically. Like, they stole. If you go to the files on Silver and Blood, a lot of the things had NIKKE nomenclatures and names, while in Silver and Blood were completely different. And all of the raids and all of the things, they took a lot of things from NIKKE, but they actually made them better. Because, for example, the overload system in NIKKE, which I forgot what it was called, used the same resources, but you could get more, and most of the stats were good. Because you have attack speed, you have SP generation, or in the case of NIKKE, it would be obviously better generation, right? You had attack speed, better generation, you had actually attack damage, attack elemental damage. You had like really good stats for most of them. They were not like actually stats you were like, oh, this is so bad. No, you could just do basic rolls on Silver and Blood and always get something good, in contrast to NIKKE, where you can spend hundreds of rocks and never get what you're looking for. So that is, in my opinion, the first problem with NIKKE. The second problem NIKKE has is the gear itself. It's locked. The moment I overload a piece of gear, it's forever on this character. I cannot unequip this. You might be thinking, well, other gachas do this. Yes, but other gachas are not as bad as NIKKE when it comes to getting specific lines. This means that you can spend 400 rocks on a character and not get anything specific. And it makes spending feel worse, like way worse, because I can spend, like I said, 400 rocks on a character and get absolutely nothing. A good example on this is, if I remember correctly, my Laplace, the new Laplace, have already eaten more than 100 rocks, and she is still at 1 elemental, no attack, attack, no elemental, elemental, no attack, and elemental, no attack. And this is more than 100 rocks. And again, it's pure RNG. Some people might use 20 rocks and get perfect rolls. Some people might use 300 and get nothing. But there is no, guarantee ever at all. And this right here, I will also absolutely say is true. Even Hoyover's gear, it's better than NIKKE. I'm talking specifically about Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, because I didn't play enough Zenless on Zero to talk about that. But when it comes to Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, the gearing system is better, just because you are never forced to actually put it on a character and you can move them around. I can put gear on a new character on Genshin, see if I like the character or not, and then just put it back on my other unit. And then if you like it, you can slowly grind. Yeah, it might take some time, but you can use the character if you want. You cannot do that in NIKKE. Not only that, you cannot do that, but there are zero guarantees regardless how much you spend. Once again, we talk about this with plenty of examples already on my characters, but there are even more units. For example, my Yukiko got I feel it's 50% elemental, 20% attack with 60 rocks. You can buy rocks, some of them. But even if you were to spend money on rocks, which is $100 if I remember correctly, for 40 of them, you can buy 8 rocks here for 55, 3 rocks for $30. I don't know what the other pack is. If you guys remember, do let me know. But there is $100 pack with 40 rocks or whatever it was. I don't even remember how much it is. It might be less. And I'm talking, okay, 5 rocks. You get 15 rocks here. Okay, yeah, 40 rocks. I don't remember if it was 20 rocks or 40 rocks or how much it is, but as you guys can see, you can buy some rocks, and it is really expensive. And even if you spend that much money, you are never guaranteed, regardless of how many rocks you spend, paid or free, that you will be getting anything. Is this 100 for 40? Can anyone confirm in the comments, please, what the pack is? Because I never buy rocks, so I know there is a couple packs for them, but I don't know how much it is, so it might be even less. And then the last point I do want to talk about is resource acquisition. So at the moment, it's better. If you guys are OG players, if you guys are day one players, depending on what server you are from, NIKKE early on was really bad for resource acquisition. Like omega awful. At the moment, it's a bit better thanks to the recent buff we got, and also because we have anomaly interception, and they did buff anomaly interception, and that makes it a bit better. It's still nowhere near enough for us to be able to build characters as they even come out. Well, maybe if you are super lucky with all of your characters and you know how you roll in them, but resource acquisition has never been enough. Now, it is a gacha game. I understand resource acquisition will never be enough to build all characters, all of them. But at the same time, it is nowhere near enough to satisfy even basic needs in the game currently, which is just building new units for raids, you know, even as spenders. Like, even if you are a spender, you cannot build all characters. So that is, in my opinion, all of the biggest issues with the NIKKE green system currently, and why I think it's one of the worst on any gacha game I've played. Obviously, I'm more invested in NIKKE than other gachas, so I might be biased towards my negativity for this, and you know, because why I dislike it more than, let's say, something like Trical or other games that I've played that didn't have great systems, but I do consider them to be better than what NIKKE has to offer. That said, that's everything for this video. Do let me know how you guys are feeling about the gear, what your current situation and luck is looking like. That's it. I'm out. As usual, we are live sometimes while I'm on vacation. Links in the description down below. Good luck with your pool dinner dates, and I'll see you on the next one.